Hey guys, so we are back again. I'm going to show you another simple meal that you can prepare, except for today is going to be breakfast. If you missed my last simple meal, you can click the link to watch the video. It was a delicious pulled chicken barbecue sandwich with a side of savory apples, and it was delicious. But today I'm going to show you something simple, quick. We're not measuring anything. You cannot mess this up. The only way you will mess this up is if you burn it. But you don't want to burn anything that you cook. So we're going to make some French toast, simple French toast, and some scrambled eggs with cheese. A simple breakfast, no need to overthink it. I already have my skillet heating up. I put a little bit of olive oil in there. This is stainless steel, not non-stick, so you want to go ahead and make sure that's getting nicely heated before you put anything in there, or it will stick and ruin your whole meal, and it'll stress you out. The only thing you're gonna need is milk, some cinnamon, sugar. I have light brown, you can do dark brown, whatever floats your boat, and an egg. And I'm going to use 4 slices of bread. Now, of course, if you are using more slices of bread, you're gonna need to pour more in there. So I'm just using a small pan. The pan just needs to really fit the size of the bread that you're using. But let's go ahead and start. So I'm gonna use this little drop of milk I have left. We're not measuring anything. We're just gonna eyeball everything. Put the milk in here. You may end up wasting some of this milk, and I'm sorry, but this is what happens when you don't measure anything. But hey, you won't be stressed out because you didn't have to worry about, is that the right amount of milk? Because it doesn't matter. So I have one of my larger spoons here. This is probably like almost a tablespoon, but just get a bigger spoon. Don't use a little baby spoon that you might get to your kids. Just get a bigger spoon and get a nice size of brown sugar. Now, if you don't like things too sweet, I wouldn't recommend a lot of sugar. So I've got a nice hefty chunk of sugar on there, and I'm just gonna throw that in there. Cinnamon. Now, I don't like too much cinnamon because I don't want it to taste too cinnamony. So I don't go overboard, but I make it nice and pretty. You see the cinnamon. So we're just gonna crack an egg in here. This is fast. My pan is heating. All right, so we have our sugar, our egg, and our cinnamon in here, and that's it. We're gonna get a nice little fork, and we're going to scramble all that up, mix it up nice and good. Now, what happens for me is if I end up using too much cinnamon, the milk will be a little darker than I want it to be. And then if that happens, you just add some more milk and keep it moving. No need to start over. Just keep going. All right, so that is all nicely stirred up. And the only thing we're gonna do next is dip the bread in here and then put it in the skillet. And that's it for the French toast. Simple. All right, so our pan has been heated up, and we are just gonna take some bread, wash your hands, and just dip it in the milk. Get it nice and moist, and just put it in the pan. All right, so it's in there. Now when you're cooking this, you want to start off on like low-ish, because you do not want to overcook the bread. You don't want the bread to cook too fast, and then like you still have soggy bread that's too brown on the other side. So we're just going to keep that on nice and low and let the French toast do its thing. Okay, so while the French toast cooks, we are going to go ahead and start on our eggs. Now, I am using stainless steel. We try not to use a lot of non-stick things in our house due to chemicals that may be in the pots. So we're using stainless steel. So I'm going to show you how to cook the perfect scrambled eggs with cheese using stainless steel. You're going to need your pan and, of course, your olive oil. Anytime I cook with stainless steel, unless I'm going to be using like water, I use olive oil. The key to cooking with stainless steel is to heat up your pan. So I'll put some olive oil in there, and I'm going to crank this bad boy up like medium high, and we're just going to let that pan get nice and hot. And while you're waiting on your eggs to cook, check on your French toast, see how it's looking. Is it cooking a little bit too slowly for you? You can turn that heat up just a little bit. Remember, you don't want to turn it up too much because you don't want to have burnt bread and soggy on the inside. We don't want that. So yeah, let's let this heat up. Okay, so as you can see, my stainless steel is, I don't know if you can see this, but there's like steam, smoke coming from the pot, which is actually what I want. I don't want to burn it, but I want to see that smoke that lets me know that it's really hot. You can see that I have moved the olive oil around. If you found that you put too much olive oil on there, just get a paper towel and just dab some of that out. So what I'm gonna do is actually let it cool. Stainless steel is a bit of work for me. This is how I cook with my stainless steel, because I don't want to put the eggs in there and they cook too fast. So the pan is nice and hot. So now I'm gonna let it cool just for a little bit, maybe about 2 minutes. And you need to check on your French toast. You can flip it throughout. You don't want it too brown on the sides, but that's looking nice and golden. So we'll flip that over. Just make sure they're cooking good on both sides. You don't want one side to be burned and the other side to be underdone. So just flip them throughout. So yeah, they're browning nice and good. And you see I'm not cooking them on high. We are really low, medium low, and they are browning nicely. This is gonna be delicious. All right, so it's been about 2 minutes. The pan is nice and cool. You don't see the steam coming out or the smoke coming out too much anymore. So it's nice and ready. I'm gonna go ahead and crack my eggs. I have my eggs. I have mild cheddar cheese. And of course, I'm gonna use some salt and pepper. You hear that? You don't hear anything. That means my pan has cooled good enough. I mean, if it sizzles, it's okay, but I prefer it actually not to sizzle, because that way it allows the pan not to stick and I can still control the heat. All right, so my eggs are in there. I'm gonna turn my pan back on, because remember I turned it off to let it cool, and I'm gonna put it on medium heat, and we're gonna season it and add the cheese. Eyeball your salt. You know how you like your eggs. You want a lot of salt? Don't put a lot of salt. You're gonna have high blood pressure. You know, just a little bit of salt. You don't need that much salt when you have cheese. I know you probably think, is she gonna ever stop? But nothing was coming out. So my salt, pepper. I don't like to drown it in pepper either. I don't want the pepper to overtake, but I do want a little pepper. And a nice hefty amount of cheese. My French toast is ready. So I have turned off the stove. All right. So we got a nice amount of cheese in there. Eggs, look at it slide. I don't know if you can see it. See it sliding? It's not sticking. That means it's beautifully heated. And there you have it, folks. French toast with scrambled eggs with cheese. Listen, this doesn't look like Chef Ramsay's food, but I'm not Chef Ramsay, and neither are you. The goal is to eat something that's delicious, and that was easy. And this is going to be delicious and easy. I'm going to pair it with some maple syrup. Can't wait to dig in. I literally want something that I cannot mess up. And if you don't burn this, you won't mess it up. Let me know what you think about it. Leave me a comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.